St. Teresa of Avila reveals that beginning a prayer life, entering into the interior castle, as she described in her most famous work, is the most difficult part of developing a prayer life. The reason for that is because our minds go crazy usually when we sit down to pray. We think about all the things that we have to do. We think about maybe the arguments we got in, or the to-do list that is waiting for us, or something at work. And because of that, we can become very discouraged. But the fact is that the only way to solve that problem is to show up every day no matter what. St. Teresa said that if you spend 30 minutes in prayer wrestling and struggling, it's more virtuous than if you were caught up in ecstasy and had to exercise no extraordinary act of your own will to give yourself to God in that way. So when you're beginning prayer, you got to set up a sacred time. And that's a time where every day at the exact same time you get up, and for the exact same time you spend that time in prayer. We talked about sacred space. This is what we call sacred time. This is time that you give and dedicate to God, just like an altar in a church. And that time, just like the altar, is used for nothing else. And even you take it so seriously that if you fail to give God that time, you might even consider taking that to confession, because you're making a promise. If you make that promise and you keep that promise, what you're going to see is over time prayer gets easier and easier, especially as you focus on the Gospels and you use the method we talk about in Into the Deep. It'll help draw your mind to Christ and fill your mind with God, and help to push out all the junk and the distractions that might be in your head. But the key is sacred time every day, and every day the same duration, and you'll begin to train your heart and your mind to draw near to God. As you seek to draw near to Him, He will draw near to you.
To learn more, click here or go to SpiritualDirection.com/pray. These reflections are brought to you by Catholics United for the Faith and the generous supporters of the work of SpiritualDirection.com.